So how are the Germans doing now? That's now 20 years ago that Germany was separated. And Germany has developed a social market economy with a highly qualified labor force. I'm going to tell you how we're able to do that. And a large capital stock, a low level of corruption, and a high level of innovation. Nikolai, would you tell how the Deutschmark and the euro change was for the Germans?
We were really excited when we first heard about the euro. So it meant for us that once we wanted to start traveling, because the EU or the European Union doesn't really have borders, so now we didn't have to change our money everywhere where you wanted to go. So the euro helped us out a lot, but it also meant that the exchange rate between the euro into yen to euro was 1.75 to 1.85. So basically all the money you had was cut in half. And we weren't happy with that, but then also the grocery stores that were supposed to cut the prices also in half, but they just changed the symbol in front of it. So the groceries were expensive for most of the time at the beginning. But nowadays it kind of has equaled itself out. People make more money, and so everything is okay with it.
Yeah, that's true. We got a raising of wages, and so we were able to buy our food and be happy about it. So how are we making our money over in Germany? The service sector contributes approximately about 71%, industry is about 28%, and agriculture is just about 1%. What's the new big thing over in Germany is the recycling industry. We are buying all the junk from all the European nations, and we start to reuse it. We start to build something new. But right now, it's a really interesting thing. We have a new car brand. We buy old wrecks, straighten them out, and making them drivable again, so you can go from point A to point B. It's nothing fancy. You don't have a GPS or something talking in it, but you have air conditioning and it's movable. And it's not that expensive. You get it for about 5,000 euros, which is about $6,500. That's the new big thing, which is actually right now coming up, and it's producing a lot of jobs. Another interesting thing is Germany has the world's oldest universal healthcare system, dating back to Otto von Bismarck. Otto von Bismarck was a general of the last German king, and he had a lot of good ideas and laws on welfare system. So maybe you should probably look it up one time when you have enough time. Interesting too is that over 99% of the Germans of age 15 and above are estimated to be able to read and write. So how are we getting there? The German school system. Nikolai will start.
Okay, the German school system, basically our kindergarten and elementary schools are the same. But after that we get divided into Hauptschule, Oberschule, and Gymnasium. The Hauptschule is for people that they're okay in school. The Gymnasium is for the elites or the really smart kids that basically have A's and B's in the elementary school. And then for the Hauptschule, it was like the lower grade students. But the school I was lucky enough to move in between these groups. And I started out with the Hauptschule, and then I worked my way up to the Oberschule, and then I graduated with the Oberschule, from the Oberschule, and then I came across. So Ronnie will keep going with this area because he went through it.
Well, thank you, Nikolai. So I started with the kindergarten, went to Grundschule, then in the Oberschule, and I went down to Gesamtschule. The concept of Gesamtschule is really interesting because the last year's kind of a semester pre-university education, and you don't have a lot of tests, not at all. But in the end, there's going to be huge tests. I remember that I was sitting for 8 hours in a room and had a writing test. For 5 hours, I had an interview in front of 5 teachers who were just questioning everything, what I learned in the last years. And based on that test, it's determining to which university you can go in Germany. So I escaped that somehow and went to the gymnasium when I was 18 years old, which was making it way easier for me to come to university in sort of Brookston here. And that's how I went, and pretty soon I'm going to work. But now back to the highly qualified labor force. Maybe you remember I said I'm going to tell you a little bit how we're going to do that. And that's the upper way here. For people who feel that their profession is more craftsmanship, they went this way. It's a certification school. It's a 3-year program, and you can become a bachelor of welding, air conditioning, all kinds of craftsmanship. And that's based on that. A normal house owner is not able to work in his own house. He always needs to have a qualified person, a licensed person, persons with a degree on it. And when you don't have enough, you continue. You can become a master of craftsmanship. And when you have that, you can open your own company, and you can teach other people. And it's a very, very good thing. And that's how we get our highly qualified labor force in Germany. So let's talk a little bit about my hometown, where I'm from. And around here, I always get that smile when I tell them, you know, my hometown has the population of Minnesota. We have about 4.2 million, and it's kind of interesting to see the reactions on that. Some interesting quotes about my hometown. Berlin combines the culture of New York, the traffic system of Tokyo, the nature of Seattle, and the historical treasures of, well, Berlin. It was written by Hiroshi Fujimura, US law professor, 2004. Another interesting quote is, Paris was big in the 30s, New York in the 80s, London at the height of Britpop. Berlin is now. Berlin is the coolest city on this planet. March 11, 2012, The Hollywood Report. It's an American webpage. So, and I thought about what is really important for Americans. And for Americans, it's important to be mobile. We want to be able to go from point A to B the easiest way. And that's our transportation system over in Berlin. It's just phenomenal. It's easy to use and understand it. We have street trains, which are air conditioned. We have underground trains. We have a very, very well-developed bus system. And we have here the district trains, and even an IC train is our high-speed train, which is getting you all over Europe in less than 6 hours. That's really, really, really fast. And the controversial thing that I discovered over here when I came here, people around here are thinking they're a big shot when they drive a Mercedes. Where I'm from, our cab drivers drive a Mercedes. That's the transportation system of Berlin. So let's talk a little bit about the culture. Berlin is a very multicultural city. It has a lot of different influence all over. And one thing that I really like in the summertime is called the Festival of Lights. All of our sightseeing is going to be light on different lights at different frequencies. Sometimes it goes really fast. Sometimes it takes like 10 minutes and change the light. It's just beautiful to go on a summer night through the sightseeing all over the place. Here you can actually see an old museum which is containing an Egyptian art gallery. And that's the thing about Berlin. We have about 300 museums over here. And it doesn't matter. Whatever you want, you can find it and get smart about it. Back here is one of my favorite sightseeings. It's the Berlin East TV Tower. And up here is a restaurant and a bar. And usually I date girls in there. And I don't know, it must be the height, but I'm almost successful all the time. Here's the checkpoint Charlie. So we are still very, very close to what was happening to us after the Second World War. And those are students, history students. You can go to them, you can ask them, and they know almost everything that you can know about it. Or you just can jump in the middle, you take a nice picture with it. Checkpoint Charlie. Back here is actually a museum which is telling you histories about how the East Germans tried to escape, and it's quite interesting. We tried to fly, we tried to swim. There were even guys who were putting themselves in the seat of a car and tried to get over the border, and it's really, really interesting. When you're over there, you should probably go there. And the Berlin Wall is still standing, can you believe it? But the Westerns decided to use it. They said, we're going to keep it, and they invited around the about 200 artists, and they said, okay guys, you're going to paint here, and it's an open air gallery nowadays. And it's very interesting. They painted about what was happening, what is happening, and what will happen with Berlin. And when you can just walk along here, and it's very, very interesting to see that, how artists were seeing those changes. The problem with that is, a lot of the young kids are putting their graffitis on there, and it's hard to maintain and to repair, to store, but we are trying to keep it up. And the Berlin nightlife. Okay, here we go. First of all, in Germany, you can start drinking beer with 16. You can start drinking hard liquor with 18. And you can be drunk in public. Can it get any better than that? As a young person, I really, really enjoyed it. So here you actually can see a little beach area with some chairs in the front. You can just sit on the river, enjoy good German beer, and listen to some good music, which is playing in the background. In the city, we actually have miles-long bars on the left and the right. Every kind of bar that you would really like to have. There's Mexican, an Italian, Hispanic, whatever you like to see. And also the club scene. We have one of the biggest clubs in Europe. It's called the Berghain. And out of 10 times that I tried to get in there, I only got 2 times in there because it was so full all the time. We said, we have no place anymore, sorry, go on. And with that, I'm done with my part, and I'm giving it over to Nikolai with the second lesson.